Thought Radio, music from all your favorite New Thought artists. From Jamie Lula, Karen Drucker, Gary Lynn Floyd, Ricky Byers, Daniel Nahmod, Eddie Watkins Jr., and many, many more. 24/7 New Thought Radio. Positively inspiring.
Greetings, my friends. Welcome. This is the New Thought Media Network. I am Ken Ludwig, and you are watching the Vibrant Living Hour. Hope this day finds you safe, healthy, and happy, and absolutely living your best possible life, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, and just simply enjoying yourself, having a great time. You know, part of my mission every single day, part of my purpose every single day is to experience joy, love, and enthusiasm in abundance everywhere. And I hope that is your reality today. Hope it's your reality every day. So here we are, another show, another thought process, another subject. We've been talking a lot about the seminal book by Don Miguel Ruiz. Wow, that was never a tongue twister before. Even tongue twister was a tongue twister. What's that about? Maybe I'm dry. Lisa always says you sound dry. Maybe I should have some water. Rewinding. We've been talking a lot about the great book by Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements. We've covered a lot about it. Hi, Eniko. I'm so thrilled to see your smiling face there. Thanks for watching. We covered the first three agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally, and don't make assumptions. Eniko just says, drink lots of water. You sound like Lisa. Those first three agreements, we covered them kind of in a row. And then I had some guests. And last week, we finally got to the fourth agreement, which is always do your best. And we had just kind of some great thought processes around that. And interestingly enough, always doing your best has come back to me in multiple different ways since last week. And it has become kind of a focal point of mine. And if you recall last week, if you watched either live or on the replay, one of the things Don Miguel Ruiz says is that first, in the beginning of the book, he says, be impeccable with your word. The first agreement is the most important agreement. But when he gets to the fourth agreement, always do your best, he says that it is the one that fires the other three agreements. And what he really means by that is that regardless of whether or not you try to be impeccable with your word, or you try not to make assumptions, or you try not to take anything personally, if you're not always doing your best at that, you probably aren't getting as far as you thought you were going to get with it. So that best idea became a big deal for me. As I said, the part of my affirmations in the morning is I expect the best and I accept the best right now. And I really kind of think I gloss over that. I just kind of go right by it and I don't think twice about it. But the truth of the matter is the best is what we should always be aspiring to, shouldn't we? And as we said last week, as we talked about, Don Miguel points out in the book that being your best is an absolute moving target because your best today is not what your best was yesterday. And it will not be the same as your best tomorrow. And it will not be the same as your best last month or last year or whenever, because your best is always a function of who are you in this moment. You can't dip your toe in the same river twice. Likewise, you can't be the same person today you were yesterday. And I don't care if you do all the same stuff in the exact same order for the exact same time frames every second of every day. Doesn't matter. You're still a different person every day. So your best is going to vary with that. Also, how are you physically? Are you feeling good? Do you have a headache? Do you have a cold? Did you do your exercises today? Eniko, did you run today? And did you stretch today? Aha, I always get you with the stretching. But if you are taking care of yourself, do you feel fabulous? Do you feel great? If you do, then your best is probably going to be at a higher level than maybe it was yesterday or previously. So that's just a little bit of thought about that. The other thing that I really, really wanted to point out how it transpired in my life. That's what I wanted to say. I belong to the Wheat Ridge Optimist Club. I think a lot of you know that. And every week we have one of the members pick a sentence out of the Optimist Creed, which is the creed written by um, Christian D. Larson many years ago. That it actually was not written as the Optimist Creed, I don't believe, but it was adopted by the Optimists as their creed. And it is it's whatever it is, 15 lines long or so, and it's just really, really good. It's promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. I have changed that. I say it every morning, and it is today. I am so strong that nothing can disturb my peace of mind. So that I'm never putting it in any other context other than me. Right now, here I am. This is what I'm doing. And hi, Cheryl. Thanks for being here, honey. I'm thrilled to have you join us. But yesterday, I mean, and originally when we started this practice of explaining what a line in the creed means to us, we volunteered. And we just kind of reintroduced it about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And the president of the club, the present president of the club, he's kind of just picking the names out of a hat. So yesterday he picked me. I got the notice Tuesday night that I was going to be doing that on Wednesday morning. So of course, because this best thing had come up in my life, I picked the line in the creed, which says to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. And what I said was, as far as what that means to me, is those 3 little snippets there in one sentence, they really, to me, are the epitome of optimism. That's what optimism literally is. And if you live an optimistic life, you're a healthier human being. So to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best, literally, as I think about that, it lifts my consciousness to a higher level, to a level of the best, as Don Miguel Ruiz says. And if I lift my consciousness to the best, then aren't I always going to be kind of just trying to do my best? Aren't I always going to be aspiring to that? I can see there are people watching, and if you're out there, I thank you for being with us. I'm thrilled if you just make a comment, say hello, ask a question, anything you want to contribute to this. This is an open forum. This is not just about me yapping or having a guest on and them yapping. This is going to be something that I really want to be, again, an open forum for everybody to participate. So before this piece of the best with the Optimist Club, a dear friend of mine, a man by the name of Lloyd Barrett, who's really he's a retired New Thought minister. Lloyd and I text back and forth periodically, and he sent me this text on Tuesday morning. When the best, and he puts the best in quotation marks, when the best appears on the scene, seldom does it announce itself. There's a signal within us that identifies the best, as if to say, it is here. You are the best. Blessings. That was a text from my friend. I'm going to read it again, just because I think it touched me, and I hope you get something from it that touches you. When the best appears on the scene, seldom does it announce itself. There is a signal within us that identifies the best, as if to say, it is here. You are the best. Blessings. That signal within us that identifies that it is here is meaning to me, it is here. The best is here. The best is in my heart. The best is in my spirit. And the best is how I express myself into the universe, into the world, into my relationships, if I am aspiring to level myself up to the best. Once again, that line from the Optimist Club: to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. If I just move myself, you know what? And that's not moving the needle too far, I don't think. If you just move the needle that far, all of a sudden you get yourself a whole different outlook on your life, a whole different perspective on who you are and what you are. So all of a sudden, that phrase, the best, has become something much more important to me. And here's a question. If you're listening, if you're watching the show, I keep saying listening because I throw back to my radio show a decade ago, because you couldn't watch, you could only listen. But if you're watching today, what is your best? What is your idea of your best? Where in your life are you doing your best? Where in your life are you wanting to do better? There's a guy here in Colorado. He was a sportscaster for many, many years. He's a good friend of mine. His name is Mark McIntosh. And Mark has started a group called A Stronger Cord. And it's based on the biblical idea of, if you wrap three cords together, it's a stronger cord, harder to break. There's a biblical story that goes with it. And to be quite honest, I don't remember it. I should, because I knew what it was. I don't remember it at the moment. But the stronger cord is about helping eliminate the problem of homelessness, and in particular, homelessness where addiction is involved, drug and alcohol abuse is involved. And so Mark has this great group that I participated in when he first got it started. I haven't participated in a long time. A good deal of that has to do with the fact that there hasn't been a whole lot of really face-to-face participation going on in the last year. But he has an expression that I really love, and it has to do with the best again. And the expression is good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. To my way of thinking, that's about everything we endeavor to do, everything we want to accomplish in this world. I am working on some things, in particular, two different levels. I'm working on my business life. Where I'm working on my business life, I'm trying to gather in, if you will, information around the most efficient and effective ways to be a marketer, to be a beneficial presence as a distributor of products in the 21st century, which of course means this. It means the internet. It means social media. I don't want to be salesy on social media, but what I do want to do is learn how best to use those things to help grow my business. So I am in that paradigm of Mark McIntosh's good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. And I think that's always the pathway if we're trying to learn something, trying to grow, trying to become more than what we have been in whatever realm we're looking at. I always have a challenge starting with the good. I let the perfect be the enemy of the good, because if it's not perfect, I don't want to do it. I don't want to look like a fool. My ego gets in the way. I don't want to look silly. I don't want to screw it up. I want it to be perfect. Well, you know what? It's not. We've talked about this many, many times. The only time you're ever going to get good at anything is if you practice, 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 practice. The only time you're going to get better is if you practice more. And you're only going to get it to be your best when you've practiced a bundle. So practice, practice, practice is what gets you there. So I'm working on that with my business, how to use the internet. And I always say dare to suck, okay? And trust me, when I tell you, when I got started originally, I sucked pretty badly. Oh my God, it's my buddy Dana McGrady, who was my guest 2 weeks ago. Hi, Dana. It's great to have you here. Thanks for joining in. So it's dare to suck. Okay. So I sucked badly in the beginning with the social media stuff, and then I got good at it. And now I'm kind of in that good realm. And I think gradually I'm getting better. Am I anywhere near my best? No, but I'm nowhere near my best doing the show either. So it's a matter of the middle phrase in my friend Mark's expression: never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. It's about that continual process of practice, practice, practice until you up level your game in whatever it is that we're talking about. Now, I mentioned first and foremost, that I was talking about my business. That's one aspect. The next aspect is a bigger piece, and my business will grow from this piece more than the other way around. That's about my personal self. It's about who am I in the world? What is my purpose in the world? And I've wrestled with this one. People call it your why. What is your purpose? You know what my purpose is in the end? My purpose is to be a beneficial presence. That's my purpose. Now, that's really kind of grandiose and broad, but the truth is, every time I try and break it down, it seems to me like I've trivialized it. What I really want it to be is always to be about being a beneficial presence. Who can I benefit? Who can I help today? Who can I show the way to? How can I benefit someone, something, some situation today, every day, any day? How can I do that? And that's about always applying that attitude of always do your best. I'm telling you, I've mentioned this. I've mentioned it every time I've talked about the book. I have read the Four Agreements many times, and I used to try and read it every single year, and I've not read it in a very long time. And I don't know why it came on my radar to discuss on the show. But of course, to discuss on the show, I've been reading it. I've actually been reading it just before every show, so that what I was going to talk about was fresh in my mind. This book is damn near the perfect guide to living your life in whatever the heck it is, 117 pages or 127 pages, 138 pages. And, and these are tiny pages, folks, with big writing, or bigger writing, if you will, compared to some of these other books. I mean, I've tried so many times to read autobiography of a yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, and the print is always so small. I almost need a pair of glasses on top of a pair of glasses. But anyway, this the point is, this book, I'm a painfully slow reader. You've heard me say that before. I love to read. I'm a painfully slow reader. This book, a fast reader, you can read this in one sitting in I don't know, an hour and a half. I mean, it is literally an incredible guide to the wisdom of living your best life. So the other thing that's interesting about it is, we call it the Four Agreements. That's what everybody thinks about, is the Four Agreements. But there's 7 chapters in the book. And the first chapter is called Domestication and the Dream of the Planet. And we will talk about that one somewhere down the road. It's not necessarily something I feel I'm compelled to talk about in terms of the whole agreements. I think it's really something we talk about in terms of the space we're living in right here and right now. And it truly is exactly what we're living right now. Then the next 4 chapters are the Four Agreements, of course. The 5th chapter is the 4th agreement. The 6th chapter is called the Toltec Path to Freedom. And the 7th chapter is the New Dream, Heaven on Earth. So I got it in my mind to read that 6th chapter, the Toltec Path to Freedom. And I did it for a couple of reasons. Let me have another swig of water here. My word for 2019, I mean. I don't remember why Lisa and I discussed it at the beginning of 2019. What's your word going to be for 2019? And I thought about it, and I really didn't have a feel for it. And finally it came to me, my word is freedom. On all levels, freedom, financial freedom, freedom to come and go as I please, freedom to be, do, and have all that I require and desire. Just, freedom is what I really wanted. And 2019 came and went. We got to 2020. In 2020, I just said, you know what? I'm going to keep the word freedom. And as 2020 progressed through the first quarter, seemed like a good word, because freedom wasn't exactly what 2020 was about in a lot of ways. And I really hadn't thought about a word for 2021, but for all intents and purposes, I just kept the word freedom. And then I'm reading the book for the show, and I get past the 4th agreement, and the 6th chapter is the Toltec Path to Freedom. And I started reading that today. Like I said, I like to have the information fresh in my mind before I do the show. And I only got maybe 10 pages into it. I'm not sure I even got 10 pages into it. I might have just I got like 6 pages into it. No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I got like 10 pages into it. Because there's so much information about freedom, and the freedom that is, we all talk about freedom in the levels that I just talked about. Financial freedom, come and go as you please, freedom to be, do, and have everything you require and desire, all of those things. That is, most people would have some definition of freedom around that kind of a thing. By the way, I'm going to say this again here. I can see there are people watching. The software shows me that people are watching. If you would make a comment, just say hi. If you've got a comment about what we're talking about, if you've got a question, if you've got a thought, I would love for this to be interactive and to be a give and take between myself and the audience, especially when I don't have a guest. So please, if you've got something on your mind, let's have it. Throw it at me, because I can see the comments right in front of me, and I'm glad to address them. Don Miguel talks about true freedom in the sense of freedom to be who we really are. Now, that to me is a different kind of freedom. And he goes through an awful lot of information about why we are not who we really are. And remember, some of you will remember my question from last week or the week before, whenever it was. The question is, well, it's not a question, it's a statement. The quote is, suppose the question is not, why am I so seldom the person I really want to be? But rather, why do I so seldom want to be the person who I really am? That to me is a monstrous question. That's a huge question. Because we have everything, every energy in the world, every energy on the planet is pushing us in a different direction other than who we really are. I think the importance of focusing my attention on who I really am brings real freedom. It brings the freedom to be who I really came here to be, when you stop and think about it, all the things that we think we want to be, all the people we think we want to be, or the person we think we want to project into the world, isn't that really all some kind of a construct that we have developed over the course of a lifetime? Who we really are is the 2-year-old running wild and free in the park with mom and dad. Who we really are is the little kid smiling and laughing and playing and not giving a darn who's watching or what they're doing. You know, when when the song says dance like nobody's watching, who dances like nobody's watching more than kids? They'll dance to anything, around anything. And if you smile at them, they'll smile back at you. Not like you, even if you're laughing at them, they'll laugh because they'll think you're laughing with them. That's really being truly who we are. As we get older, we lose our freedoms. We lose our freedoms to that inner judge. We lose it to all the fears of our ego, to the perceptions of what's acceptable in the world. We lose that freedom to be us, to be ourselves, to express ourselves wholly and fully. And I'll go back to what I talked about a little bit earlier when I talk about using social media and using the internet for my business. That self-conscious piece, that ego piece, the need to be right, the need to understand, the need to judge, all of those ego pieces keep me in that space of the perfect being the enemy of the good, of not embracing done being better than perfect, getting it done, being me. We talk all the time, the people that I deal with in my business, in our mastermind, in our master class, we talk all the time about the most important piece of doing the social media piece, Facebook Lives, all the other things. I'm not going to list them, but all of those things, the number one piece is be authentic. The question that occurs is what's authentic? Who's the authentic Ken Ludwig? Is this the authentic Ken Ludwig? Or is the authentic Ken Ludwig some guy that I create to look important or to look cool? Or, I mean, I spent my whole life compensating for not feeling worthy by trying to look cool, by trying to be the tough guy, by trying to be the king of the hill. That's another whole set of stories right there. But I always say I lived down to that reputation for 25 years. And I did. And I did a damn good job of it. But the real question is, that was no freedom there. Hi, Susan. My friend Susan Levis says, I know who Ken Ludwig is. You know what? And she may know more than I might want to admit. But that authentic self that we talk about, excuse me, in business or doing social media thing, is that truly the authentic me? Or is that somebody else? Is that part of the construct of the last 70 years of my life? And there's a question there. There's a question there, I think, for all of us. Cheryl just asked it. Who is the authentic me? Where do I find that person? so often my answer is always going to be the same. It's going to be, I find that person in meditation. I find that person in what I intend in my meditation. I find that person in the meditation of my last 3 days, my last 3 weeks. I mean, this took me a long time to figure out, folks. And this is a hard one for a practicing metaphysician to admit. But there is the higher mind. There is the one mind in which all possibilities exist. But what is that also? It's also the quantum field is that divine mind. And when Esther Hicks and Abraham talk about the vortex, that's the divine mind and it's the quantum field. It's all the same thing. So I finally, after 25 years of practicing metaphysics, I finally connected those dots. It's part of my meditation. It is to align myself there, to be aware of that, to know that everything I require and desire in this world is already there. It's already in the vortex, in the quantum field, in the divine mind. The challenge is to make use of the laws of the universe to vibrate at such a level that I manifest those things into my life. That's where I am finding some of the authentic self. And in finding that, there is this sense of freedom that I didn't have before. We live in America. We like to talk all the time about how free we are. But freedom is not about whether or not we get to vote or drive a car. Or that's not freedom. Freedom is in here. Freedom is a thing of the human spirit. It is that feeling that I am clearly comfortable expressing me, my true, real self. That's freedom. And I don't think, as I'm just saying, and this is really kind of stream of consciousness here, I don't think that we can get there unless you have to pass through that authentic me to get to freedom. You have to be clear of who you are. You have to be like that little kid. You have to learn to enjoy life, to laugh, to dance, to play. They're happy all the time. They're exploring all the time. And if they come up against anything that even resembles love, if they feel that this is love in front of them, what do you get back from a child? Nothing but love. Nothing but love. Now, I'm not saying, there's that whole Bible quote about be as little children and to reach the kingdom of heaven. And maybe the kingdom of heaven is that ability to be who I really am. Maybe that's really the kingdom of heaven. Maybe that's how being like little children translates into freedom, into happiness, into loving relationships, into loving our existence, into loving the world around us. So many different quotations come to mind around love. The one that popped up almost instantaneously was, I don't care what the question is, love is the answer. And one of my all-time favorites is from Marianne Williamson, that every single thing that we observe in this life is either an expression of love or a call to love. And if you look at children and their authentic expression of their freedom, that is love. That is love expressing. Love expressing as I really am. But that has been learned out of me, if you will. We all started out that way. We all started out crazy nuts kids. Like, why? It's really funny when you stop and think about it. Don Miguel makes mention of this in the book too. Little children are really not a whole hell of a lot different from wild animals. Think about your 2-year-old son or daughter or nephew or niece or grandchildren or whatever. Think about them and then think about a litter of puppies. There's not a whole lot of difference. They get, as Don Miguel Ruiz refers to them in the very beginning of the book, they get absolutely domesticated by training. by having the same things repeated at them, by then practicing them, and little by little, that wild animal, that authentic piece disappears. And then we develop, over time, we develop our persona. Our persona is driven by and large by ego. I'm not one of these people who demonizes ego, but I think we get in trouble when we allow ego in the driver's seat behind the wheel. I think ego belongs in the back seat as a passenger. Ego is what keeps you from stepping off the street into the front of a bus. I mean, ego is, there are so many positive pieces of your ego, but what if ego is in charge, then we find ourselves absolutely disposing of freedoms. Because the ego is all about conformity. The ego is all about staying inside the box. The ego is all about not looking silly. The ego is all about judging other people so that it feels good. The ego is all about wanting to understand and to absolutely be clear that it is the king of the hill. And as long as it is, I'm subject to the ego. I'm not subject to my human self inside. My as Esther would say, my inner being. We develop these belief systems, and then we become subject to the belief system. And it's his interesting question that came to me while I was reading Don Miguel in the book. And once again, I can see there are people out there that are. I love that you're watching, but if you want to make a comment, just say hi or ask a question. Please feel free, whether it's about what we're talking about or something else entirely. But the piece about the belief systems that I find interesting. This is also part of the idea of going deeper within myself, as I talked about with my meditation, connecting the dots with the vortex and the higher mind and the quantum field. This is also part of that mindset, is to question the belief system. Is my belief system real? Is my belief system based in truth? Or have I spent a good deal of my time defending a belief system that's BS? I don't think, not coincidentally, BS and belief system are the same two letters, BS. Because more often than not, that belief system is our own personal BS. And whenever it gets challenged or questioned, our immediate response is to be defensive. And when we get defensive about our BS, and we have to legitimize it, rationalize it, validate it, whenever we have to do that, we've lost more freedom, because we're not expressing our authentic self. We're expressing our defense of what we believe. And I've surrendered my freedom to that. Mentioned several times, or a couple times here, the ego. One of the ego's big things is to blame. So if we have no freedoms, if we think where our freedoms are being questioned or are being impinged upon, then we start pointing fingers and blaming. It's the government's fault. It's religion's fault. It's my spouse's fault. It's my parents' fault. My family's fault. Whatever. It's somebody else's fault. But the truth is, there is no fault. There is either what I have created, true or false, or nothing, because no one else is at fault. People joke about, my mother knows how to press my buttons because she installed them. Well, you know what? Other people install our buttons. Other people figure out ways to trigger us, and they install those triggers, those buttons within us. But the truth of the matter is, they're our buttons. They're our triggers. We're in charge. Every time we allow someone who has pressed that button a reaction from us, we've lost another freedom, because now we have surrendered to the reaction. And I don't mean this to sound like esoteric. I mean, I really think that being that authentic, free self is being free of all of those things that prevent us from expressing courageously and outrageously who we are. I want to always come from the place of my spirit. And I've got 70 years of the creation of my own personal BS to sort through. Not necessarily to overcome or to unlearn, but to sort through. I'm sure there's plenty of my belief system that's absolutely beyond freaking wonderful. But there's also a lot of that belief system that is pure BS. And if I want to express into this world as the kind, compassionate human that I want to be taken as, then I really, really, really have to get into that space of truly wanting to be, as my statement about the question, I want to be that person who I really am. I want to release the sense of embarrassment, of feeling silly, of needing to, all those ego qualities, to judge, to blame, to be right, to understand. Let all of those things go. Yeah, Cheryl says maybe the kingdom of heaven is accessible when we truly become love, because love is always the answer. Maybe the kingdom of heaven is experienced through our highest calm. I can't argue with that at all. If you throw in the word calm, then basically what we really are looking at is the possibility of never, ever, ever getting so excited about anything that it disturbs us. Back to the Optimist Creed that we talked about at the very beginning of the show here. The first line of the Optimist Creed is, promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. And I've told you that in my affirmations, in my prayer work in the morning, it's, I promise myself, today I am so strong that nothing can disturb my peace of mind. And then, excuse me, embrace that idea that we are only love. That is all we are. We are an emanation of the divine, of the oneness of all life, of the overarching creative intelligence of the universe. And that, without question, is a volitional energy of love. And I've actually oversimplified that into some people say, what the hell are you talking about? Really, truthfully, the overarching creative intelligence does one thing and one thing only, and it creates nonstop. It just continues to create. It is the overarching creative intelligence. It volitionally creates. It thinks, and it is. Whatever it thinks about is, because it is this energy. And that energy continues to create. Why? Because it absolutely loves what it does and loves its creation. And as that overarching intelligence creates all of this loving energy as what we perceive as our creation, as our reality, it just doesn't take a genius to connect the dots and realize that that loving energy is creating love. Its creation is love because it loves what it does, and it loves everything that it is volitionally, if you will, putting out into our recognizable universe. Hi, Colette, and greetings back to you. Colette is joining us from Ireland. I am so thrilled to have you with us. Thank you very much. Go back to the question again. Suppose the question is not, why do I so seldom want to be? I'm sorry. Suppose the question is not, why am I so seldom the person that I really want to be? But rather, why do I so seldom want to be the person who I really am? There's the freedom. And as I express from a place of love, compassion, kindness, joy, enthusiasm, courage, conviction, clarity, as I express from those places, I get the opportunity to literally express into the world who I really am. and not that construct of who I want to be or the person I really want to be. I am no different now than I have ever been in here. And as I have aged, I think I've gone through kind of a wave of absolutely being very clear who I am in here, because I was unconsciously clear of having a good time, being a child, having fun, running, playing, having excitement, exploring, all those things we talked about before. That is how we all start. And then we unlearn all of that. And I think and we create this inauthentic self, if you will. There's this other being that is this person that we really want to be. And in the process, lose the person who we really are. But I think all of us get to a point in our lives as we mature, as we age, as we get to that place of maybe a little more wisdom, where we start to think in terms of going back. I want to love more. I want to explore. I want to play. I want to have a good time. I want to travel. This is like, adult play. Rather than running around the jungle gym and swinging on the swings, I want to go travel. I want to see things. I want to go places. I want to go say hi to Colette in Ireland. And as we look in the mirror, almost everyone I know, if you look in the mirror, everybody has some kind of commentary about, I look in the mirror and I'm like wondering, who the hell is that old guy that took over my body? Because I don't feel any different. Do I feel wizened? In some ways I do. Do I feel a little bit more in touch with myself, a little more aware of my world and my universe and what's going on in my personal sphere of influence, if you will? Yes, because I spend so much time on me. I spend time reading uplifting books, reading, I've read like 3 novels in the last 20 years, and I love to read, as I've told you before. Everything I read is about, the Four Agreements, Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, those things that uplift me and expand my consciousness of who I am. I love to do that. I love to read. I love to meditate. I love my prayer work and my affirmations. I love this new thing that I talked about a little bit ago, connecting the vortex and the quantum field and the divine mind as one and going, wow, and everything I want is right in there. And all I got to do is get to the point where I'm vibrating with it. Those are exciting to me. And that is the growth of who I am. But when I look in the mirror, I'm still the same Ken Ludwig that I was when I was 6, when I was 16, when I was 35. At 37 and a half, I got sober. That was a game changer kind of there. That was what set me in a whole different way after 25 years of drug and alcohol abuse. And as we've said before, that's a whole nother workshop. But I am still the same guy. I think what changes as I get older is I am on a conscious path of personal evolution to become that next highest vision of me, to become that beneficial presence on the planet. That seems to be the trajectory of my life. And I'm thrilled with that. I really am thrilled with that. I think, what's the old expression? Youth is wasted on the young. I wish I had come to these realizations, some of these realizations, like spontaneously when I got sober. That would have been fabulous. To all of a sudden be a practicing metaphysician and meditating and all these other things once I got sober. I actually started meditating before I got sober, to be honest with you. 10 years before I got sober, I started meditating. But those first 10 years really wasn't a whole lot of productive meditation. It's all been since then. I've been meditating for over 40 years. The time comes where I think it's imperative to ask the question, who am I becoming? Am I happy, proud, excited about who I'm becoming? Am I okay with who I've become up till now? And are my beliefs in alignment with who I truly am? Not who I think I want to be. Are they in alignment with who I truly am? Are my beliefs based in fact? Or are they true? And are they serving me? Here's a big one right there. Are my beliefs serving me, my highest good? the next highest vision of me. I think when we live a life from a perspective of that overarching creative intelligence, from the faith of God, not in God, the faith of God, from the love of God, to recognize that everything we interact with is either an expression of love or a call to love, as Marianne has said. That overarching creative intelligence is expressing itself only and always as love. Hi, Anna. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. Only and always is love. That is the overarching creative intelligence. If I then recognize my individuation of that overarching creative intelligence as myself, when I get to that point, then I get to experience everything in my life as love. I'm not even going to tell you for a second or pretend for a second that that's an easy thing to do. But I believe it is the key for me to live my authentic self. Once again, not the person who I think I want to be, but the person who I really am. I think it starts first thing in the morning. And I think I'll close with this piece for today. First thing in the morning when I wake up, I say several things. The first thing I say is, good morning, God. And I'd use whatever word you want. You know, I hate the idea that some people don't like the word God because they have, you know, if you came from the traditions I come from, or anyone who came from the Judeo-Christian traditions and they're now into something else, metaphysics or whatever else we're into, a lot of people have issues with God. You know, my friend Barry always says one thing he knew when he was growing up was that God was always pissed off, and God seemed to be particularly pissed off at him. That God, that's the one that people have problems with the word God. And I've told you before that I went into meditation one day wanting another word to express for God, or another way to express God, because I say the word all the time. And the word, and what came to me within 30 seconds of closing my eyes, was guidance on demand. G-O-D, guidance on demand. That's what God is. God is not out here. God is not out there. God is not the white bearded guy in the cloud. God is within. God is in every cell and the spaces between every cell. God is, you know, so many religions say God is everywhere. In metaphysics, we say there is no place where God is not. It is all that there is. And if you want guidance, guidance on demand is close your eyes and go ask God. And you don't ask God out here. Talk to the divine within. So that's the first thing I say in the morning. Good morning, God. And then I have a series of little affirmations I do. The last one is kind of a favorite of mine. It's from Charles Fillmore, I believe, and it's this one just, it's so dated in the languaging, but I love this. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and go forth with a powerful faith to do the things that ought to be done by me today. That's the last one of my affirmations that I do. And then I stretch, and I do stretches. And those of you who've been watching the show for a long time know that I have had some issues I've been experiencing with degenerating discs in my back. So I'm proactively exercising and stretching to mitigate any pain and to help facilitate it not getting any worse. And so I do some stretches in bed. This is all before my feet hit the floor. And then, of course, my mind goes immediately to, oh, shoot, what do I got to do? And I'm sorry I said shoot, but that's, you know, most of you who know me know that shoot is just right. It's just shit with two O's, but oh, shoot. This is what I got to do today. This is what I have to get done. Oh my God, I forgot this, blah, blah, blah. I am practicing really, really hard at correcting myself when I do that. And don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go here. Don't go right to check my phone. I check my phone for the weather to know how I'm going to dress for my meditation, because I like to meditate outside as long as I can. So what am I going to wear to get out there? But to really, really, really focus on not going into what has to be done today, what has to be done next, even though that last affirmation is to, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and go forth with a powerful faith to do the things that ought to be done by me today. But the key word is not do the things that ought to be done with me. It's going forth with a powerful faith, and just know before I even step into that space of this is what I got to get done, that it's already done. So I don't have to think about it. There's plenty of time every day to worry about what do you got to do next. There's plenty of time to worry about what you got to do next. You'll never have enough time to worry about what you got to do next because there's plenty. But if you don't start your day that way, you give yourself the opportunity to just enjoy the morning. Enjoy saying some affirmations before you get out of bed. Enjoy stretching, either in the bed like I do, and I also do some more stretches on the floor. But whatever you got to do something to enliven yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically before you get caught in the BS of the day. And I think you'll be thrilled with yourself for doing it. And quite honestly, I'm thrilled with myself for doing it. That's pretty much what I got for you today. Couple of things here. Please, please, please don't forget. Let's get our banners up here, okay? Remember that New Thought Media we are a nonprofit organization, and we absolutely thrive on your donations. So please go to ntmedia.org, click on donate, and donate whatever your little heart desires. Whatever you feel compelled to donate, we're thrilled to have it. We are greatly appreciative of that. This is the sponsor for this show, hempworks.com/Ken Ludwig. And this is my safety net, folks. This is CBD. One of these days, we'll spend an entire show on CBD, but CBD is cannabidiol. Cannabidiol is a compound that is part of the cannabis plant. Every single cell of your body, almost every single cell of your body, has receptors for this. This interacts with your body, and it creates homeostasis in your body. Any of your systems, all of your systems, nervous system, reproductive system, breathing, digestion, all of that stuff is affected by CBD. CBD interacts with those receptors on those cells and creates homeostasis. Homeostasis is balance. Anything that is out of whack in your body, anything that's out of whack in your body can be brought into balance with CBD. There is no dosage. It varies with each person, and it's kind of an adaptogenic in meaning that it meets your body where your body needs it. So question me, call me. You can find me at, there it is. You can find me at that email address right there, teamrockitnow@gmail.com. Ask me any questions you want to ask me about the HempWorks products. The largest line of hemp and CBD infused products you're going to find anywhere. The largest direct-to-distributor producer of CBD products on the planet. Best stuff ever. The other thing I want you to see this shirt? This is a hemp fiber shirt. It's mixed with other fibers, but every single one of the fibers is sustainable. There's so many reasons to use hemp for clothing. It takes less water, less fertilizer. It is a naturally resilient against insects. There's so many things about hemp that make it the absolute only crop to grow on the whole flipping planet, but it makes the best clothes anywhere. They get softer with every single washing. This shirt is so soft, it's almost like I don't have anything on. It's amazing. And at the same time, it provides I don't want to say warmth, just a comfort. If you go to hempworks.com, you're going to find another brand on that website. They're called Hemp Mama, MOMMA, Hemp Mama. I meant to put a banner up for that today. I didn't create one. Hemp Mama is a reference to Mama Earth, and there are men's and women's fashions there. And all I can tell you is that anybody and everybody I know that has ordered any of this stuff just flat out simply loves them. So give them a shot. You might be surprised. No, you won't be surprised. You're going to love them. This also is another place to find my beloved Lisa and I at our branded Facebook page, Vibrant Aging, which obviously ties into this show, Vibrant Living. And I think that's about all I had for you. Oh, coming up, there is a new book out called Sakhalin. It is a novel that I have on its way to me. The author is a brand new author, a woman by the name of Graham E. Bailey. We have a very special connection, which you're only going to find out if you watch the show. She's going to be my guest either next week or the week after. And coming up shortly after that is a great old friend of mine who was an old guest for my radio show, Lisa Wimberger, who is the founder and the chief executive of the Neurosculpting Institute. I can't wait to have her on because she's going to have some great information about navigating these interesting times, right? The crazy times. So now I can see that there are several new people watching. You're watching at the end of the show here, and I'm so thrilled you're here. Please just say hello. Just let me know you're out there. Or ask a question or a comment. We got a couple of minutes left. Anybody got a question? Anybody got something they'd like me to cover? Susan, I'm thrilled that you like that God reference, because that is, it literally is something that came to me in the blink of an eye. I wanted something. I intended to have something other than the word God. I closed my eyes to meditate, and literally in less than 30 seconds, I got guidance on demand. And I'm thrilled that you like that. It happened a long time ago. I'm giving you one drink of water to ask me a question. All right, time's up, folks. As always, I am immensely grateful for the incredible gift of your time and your attention. It means so much to me that you spend any time paying attention to what we do here on this show and on this network. I wish you all the love and all the blessings that the universe has to offer. I hope you will join me again next week on the Vibrant Living Hour every Thursday at 3 o'clock Mountain Time, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm here sometimes with a guest, sometimes all you get is me, but it's always meant to be interactive. I'm always here for your comments, your questions, whatever it is you want to do in participating in the show. So until the next time, thank you again, and namaste.